Welcome to Sideline, the Baseline with your host MB and K Lou. MB's out today, y'all. We trying to get Pac Jam in. Y'all know how he do. He raggedy. It is what it is.
This man always trying to sub me up.
He raggedy.
Wow,
We
wow.
gonna bring him in anyway. We don't know how long you gonna have it. Maybe 30 seconds,
Absolutely,
maybe 5 seconds.
absolutely. Well, I'm here. Just know I'm
Hey,
in the building. Just know I'm in the building.
you put those together, you get 35 seconds. And
hmm
hey, so it like playing spades with this joker. He apostle. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I'm a busy man. Got a lot going on. Got a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot
So
going on.
so look, NFL draft started last night, and we had some shockers, some surprises. Listen, um, obviously it's so funny to me because I did watch the replay of it, and I was like, it's so funny when a guy that they didn't project go, it's like, well, it's a great pick, but I felt like they could have had him at the bottom of the second. So what you said is your draft said he was at the bottom of the second. Well, well, y'all ain't experts like you think you is. Everybody know what the first few picks are. After that, it's team needs and really how the teams put guys on the board. How draftable are they? And they start putting their own mix together to pick. But Alabama was live in effect. No Pac Jam's excited about that. Let's start with the number one pick of the draft, Pac Jam, and then we'll go to the Alabama guys because I know you want to celebrate them. Go ahead. So Trevor Lawrence, right? Number one pick of the
So
draft.
you,
Go ahead.
hmm right? Uh, again, everybody's been hounding Trevor all year. So again, we're gonna have to see. I'm not impressed with Trevor. I've never been on that bandwagon with Trevor Lawrence. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence. I still think the best kid in this draft was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. I believe that I believe all my money. I pushed all my coins to the middle of the table on Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. I really feel that kid is special. I feel he's to me. Now this is me speaking. To me, he's a combination of Colin Kaepernick and Mahomes in one. He is going to be electrifying out there in the Bay Area. Shout out to my homeboy E fought in too short. Let him know we going up, baby, because we back. 49er is back. You hear me? Yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, I went in my chest last night and I went in there and lo and behold, guess who I had in my chest last night? A Jerry Rice jersey. I pulled it out. Just letting y'all know Pac Jam is getting ready.
You back already?
Look like I might be back in the Bay. Just stand by. But look like Pac Jam may be moving back to the Bay, baby.
When were you in the Bay?
I
Just
was in the
give me
Bay,
a reminder.
baby. I was in the Bay. I was in the Bay when they had, remember they had the long neck safety. You know what I mean?
Really ain't.
Hank. I go back with Hank and the boys, man. You know what I'm saying? I go back. So
Okay.
again, Pac Jam, E40 told me I'm always welcome back. So it is what it is.
So
You know.
um you get Trevor Lawrence off the board right away, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get the Jets, that I think is a complete dumpster fire no matter how you look at it. And sadly, no matter who goes there, but they're really excited about Zach Wilson out of BYU. What are your thoughts on him?
So we impressed now with the slinger type balls in the air. And so all of a sudden he's the second coming of somebody. He's the second coming of they were throwing out Aaron Rodgers. It just kills me how people just throw that out there and say he's the next Aaron Rodgers or he's a gunslinger. And this guy was at BYU and
I told y'all
light
we
it
don't
up
know if
against
you're gonna get him
nobody. It's
30
no
or
and like
35
if you
seconds.
look him up, his whole time at BYU, he did not have one game. He was electrifying. Another thing, How you the quarterback and the team didn't even want you to be their captain? Now, from my sources and some people I know, said there's some Johnny Manziel in this guy. Also, he had major shoulder surgery and major surgery on his wrist. That's another red flag. But hey, we talking about the Jets. So I mean, again, like you said earlier, a dumpster fire. So it doesn't shock me. It doesn't. As a matter of fact, the whole New York is a dumpster fire. Since we in New York, let's go there. Let's go there. You know what I mean? Because you mean to tell me, Giants, all the holes you got, you go first round on that receiver out of Florida? That's what you doing? First round? That guy would have been around in the third and the fourth round. Nobody was caught. No, as a matter of fact, not one analyst was saying he was a must-get guy.
Well,
as a matter of fact, when they drafted him, go ahead.
He was a must for them.
When they called his name, ESPN had to go in the files quickly to find some information on this guy. They didn't even have nothing at the ready. They was producing. They was producing 9. You got something? Yeah. I'm looking right now. They're trying to find tape that they can show us because everybody that was calling, they had tape on the ready, letting us know these guys were supposed to be going first round. When the Giants picked this guy, ESPN even had tape on the Reddit, man. Producers they just held his face up there while the producers found some footage on this guy. Are you serious?
Well, to kind of piggyback on your thoughts with that, we heard about Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts the entire season over there. Like, we heard 2 names coming out of Florida. Now, I always said they had some monsters out wide, but truth be told, they were all interchangeable. All their receivers that were starters. Those 3, not including Kyle Pitts, were all interchangeable. So I can really agree with you saying that all 3 of those guys were dynamic and caught all the 50-50 balls. And Kyle Trask was out there throwing jump balls every play anyway to everybody.
Right. But this guy was a little shifty guy. You know what I mean? He caught a lot of what we would call the bubble screens, things like that. He wasn't a guy that's out there really route running, things like that. And again, the Giants, are you serious? The Giants, you just went and gave $80 million to a guy from Detroit. Why are we still with receivers? Anyway, got your defense got major holes on your defense. You got no pass rusher. You got no lockdown cornerback. You putting your belief in Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson was a turnstile in Tennessee.
Hey man, you done jumped. So much. We need to get to New York when we get to New York. You done went New York Jets to the Giants. Let's calm down on them. Let's go to your favorite pick. The way you was talking about him earlier, I thought he went to Alabama, but Trey Lance goes to Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers. I guess a second coming of RG3. Will they ruin?
No.
Will they ruin his career as they did RG3?
Well, if you really go back to the story of RG3 and his dad came back after the MVP type season and said he no longer wants to play that way. He wants to be a drop back pass. And his dad and RG insisted on them changing him and what he was going to do and what he wasn't going to do no more. That was happening there. That's not fair to put it on Shanahan, because that was not what Shanahan them did. That was RG3 went to Daniel Snyder and said, this is what we're going to do. This is what we want for ourselves. And because Daniel was in love with RG3, that's what they did. Okay, but I feel they got it right with this guy, Trey, with the guy they drafted out of North Dakota State. I feel they got it right. They're going to do big things out there. Look for them to be back.
We see who
he's going to get on the field.
We see who your favorite is right out the gate. Moving to pick 4, you got the Atlanta Falcons. And really what everybody said was the best available guy, number 1 prospect in the NFL draft 2021, Kyle Pitts. My first question to you is, knowing all that, why he dropped the 4?
Well, the thing about it is this. To me, as we talked about before, Kyle Pitts was the best player clearly in this entire draft. The problem is this, that we saw. Teams that drafted those 3 picks before him drafted what they needed. Okay, they needed a quarterback. Now, even though the Jets got a quarterback, I don't believe was right. They still said our need is a quarterback. At the end of the day, Atlanta, if you be honest about it, Atlanta did not need a tight end. Atlanta have no problem scoring on anybody. Atlanta problem is they can't stop a faucet leak. So they really got Kyle Pitts, but they didn't need Kyle Pitts. Atlanta offense is explosive. Their problem was defense. But because of the fact Kyle Pitts was a can't miss guy, they drafted Kyle Pitts. But that wasn't what they needed. They don't need a tight end. Atlanta need any defensive position you name, they need it. That's why the guy lost his job. Atlanta was giving up. Remember, they couldn't stop nobody. They was giving up leads and leads every week. So they drafted out of, hey, this is the highest rated guy. Are we serious? That's what we're doing now? Or are we drafting about what we need on our team?
Well, you got to remember now there's a lot of talk coming out of Atlanta that they trying to ship the big receiver, your guy, Alabama guy, Julius. What's his name?
Who?
Can't think of his name. Your big time receiver in Atlanta from Alabama.
Julio Jones. Julio Jones. You got Ridley.
No. Listen. So there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk and speculation that Julio Jones will be exiting stage left. Like they want to cut him. If they can't move him. So because of that, I can see why this is a great pick. And even if you keep him, then hopefully you don't give up huge leads, because that's what it should be with adding this third, fourth piece to the puzzle.
Well, the problem is it has nothing to do with Julio. The problem is Julio and Matt Ryan are the two highest paid dudes. They just gave Matt Ryan a 4-year extension. The problem is they got two salaries that got them where they can't do anything for his free agency. And the thing about it is, so they got, like I said, they got the highest rated guy. But that was not the problem with Atlanta. Atlanta still only win 3 games this year with Kyle Pitts. The problem is defense. They should have never gave Matt Ryan a 4-year contract extension. Matt Ryan is toast. Done. They needed a quarterback as well. But
we should have been 4 quarterbacks in a row.
But because Arthur Blank is that's his guy, it's been like that from day one. They needed defense, man. To me, Atlanta did an old Jerry Jones move, what Jerry Jones did last year when he drafted the wide receiver from Oklahoma. And he knew he needed defense. But because of the fact he went with the rating, same thing Atlanta just fell to. I'm gonna get this wide receiver. He's the top rated guy on the board left instead of getting the defensive guy.
So the best receiver on the board turns out to be Ja'Marr Chase. This is a guy that didn't play at all this season, and a guy that I told you immediately, Pac Jam, when he opted out, that was the correct pick for him to do. To opt out, we knew LSU was going to be trash, and he didn't want to be involved with that because I told you all he could do is hurt his draft stock. It seemed like that stayed true. He the first receiver off the board, Ja'Marr Chase. What'd you think about that? Going to Yo. Well, no, not Joe. You in Cleveland. Now you in.
I'm in Cleveland. Cleveland Brown.
Now you in 49. I almost thought he was going to y'all, but he
went to Cincinnati.
He gets back with his guy Joe Burrows, who he just had electrifying season with.
I'm gonna say this. I like Ja'Marr Chase. I feel that he's everything that he's advertised, but I don't like that pick for the Bengals, and I'm gonna tell you why. Your quarterback is coming off major ACL. He tore his ACL, MCL. The line is a turnstile, and you had the best lineman in the entire universe sitting there waiting on, and you didn't do it. So that was my problem. Your quarterback just came off a major injury, and you mean to tell me you go, and that says everything about Cincinnati. You go get a wide receiver and you got no protection. The kid was running for his life every week. So again, here we are again choosing, we're going for the flavor of the month, what looked good instead of getting what I need. And that's another situation because guess what? You need offensive line. So that wasn't a good pick for them, but as far as the value of his talent, of who he is, he's the real deal. But how can he get the ball if the quarterback ain't standing up on his feet?
Right.
So I don't agree with that pick again.
Well, That's one pick you don't agree on. Let's see what you think about the number 6 pick of the draft. Started the Alabama roll tide in Jalen Waddle, being the number 6 pick of the draft, Miami.
I liked that pick, and I'm gonna tell you why. Miami, if they would listen, Miami couldn't do wrong if they'd have went Ja'Marr Chase, Waddle, or Smith, because the problem with Miami was Miami has a top 5 defense down there. Miami had no game-breaking receivers out there. They had a bunch of guys running 4.7s, 4.8 wide receivers, possession guys. They needed some guys that can wiggle it, that got some wiggle, that can get loose to give Tua some weapons. And so I like that pick because Tua need weapons. They had no weapons down there. So that's any receiver they would have got would have been great. But now you get Waddle, electrifying. Let's let it do what it do. I like that pick.
I love this. So the worst pick of the first round just happened at number 6. He was far from being the best receiver on his own team. We obviously know Devontae Smith was the best receiver on his team, and to me, quite frankly, the best player in wide receiver in the draft. So I think not only should Devontae Smith should have went before Waddle, he also should have went before Chase. This pick is horrendous. It reminds me of the Desmond Howard pick when he was picked number 4 in the draft. You picking a special teams guy. That's what you're getting. You forget who blew the top off the defenses and why he was able to work inside. He had that thing going on outside that was blowing the top off the defense. Now he can work in the middle and it's space. And now he can make moves and wiggle. The last time we saw him, he was awful. He was awful the last time we saw him. And I wish MB was on here tonight because he would tell you what you put on film is who you are. Okay. Now they're writing that off and saying that's not who he was. He was who he was the first 3-4 games before he got hurt. That's great, except for who did he beat? Did you see all the highlights they even showed? When there was a real route being run, he was tackled immediately. There's no routes where he's gaining separation, where he's actually making DBs do 180s and really breaking them and shaking them. He don't do that. Now he does a great job when he has the football in his hands. He's a specialist. You know, you get him on a team to make plays, but that's a 3rd round guy. It's not even a 2nd round guy. That's a 3rd round guy that you bring in to just make plays for you. He is not Cheatham. He is not a route runner like that. He just don't get open. So it's amazing to me how you could throw out there you love this pick when you got Devontae Smith. To me, listen, I'm a year removed from Ja'Marr Chase. I don't remember that far. Okay. I don't remember that far, but what I do remember is what was done this year. And I don't care what you say, number 6 was all over that thing. Every week, no matter if y'all put 1 on him, 2 on him, 3 on him, nobody game planning for Jalen Waddle, man. Nobody doing that. This is a travesty. This is a wasted pick for the Dolphins, and it's going to come up to bite.
All right.
So number 7, the Detroit Lions went offensive tackle. Went with Penei Sewell.
That's right. The next Tony Baselli. The next Tony Baselli. That was Cincinnati. Cincinnati. That supposed to have been you. That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Well, Detroit is another dumpster fire. I don't understand or know how they'll ever right the ship. I think Dan Campbell, a former teammate of ours, actually is gonna come in, and he gonna fight. They're gonna fight, but they need players, and they need a belief, and they need a change of culture. That's one of them things where you need to put in a guy like a Mike Singletary type just to change the culture. Not necessarily that he gonna win for you, but just to shake it up and get the guys to say, "Hey, around here we work." I hope Dan Campbell is gonna be able to get that done, but seems like all we see is guys come to Detroit to do is to see how fast they can get up out of there. So they'll play well enough to get up out of there. So uh, I,
Mm-hmm.
I look at his situation. I say, dang, I wish somebody else would have drafted.
Right.
Number 8, Carolina Panthers, who made a huge move earlier by trading, getting some Jets big time quarterback Sam Darnold, and traded Teddy Bridgewater. Uh, so they were able to move and pick up the first defensive player of the draft and J.C. Horn. And yes, sir, that's Joe Horn, dad. I mean, excuse me, son. The
Right.
Horn you
Right.
think about, that's him. And the game
Mm-hmm.
you think about it, yeah, that was me and MB. We was playing the Saints in the Superdome, and Joe Horn was doing what he do, caught a touchdown. And I remember running on the field, for field goal, and he messing around to the back of the goal post. I'm like, what this dude doing? He pop up with his cell phone. And here's the truth. Joker say he really made a call. Called his mama, let him know he was at the house.
Mm-hmm.
So J.C. Horn, did it sting a little bit that Alabama wasn't in the building for the first defensive player and it being a corner? Because this was unexpected. Joe Horn actually had complained about it already.
Mm-hmm. What is he complaining about?
He complained and said that during when his son got chose, they were actually talking about how upset Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay and how he was talking about he want to get out of there. So he said the conversation wasn't even on his son's pick. It was talking about Aaron Rodgers. So he was upset
Okay.
about it.
And it should have been on Aaron Rodgers. It should have been on Aaron Rodgers. Your son has to make a name first. We don't even know that guy. Your son walks in the mall. Nobody knows who he is. Your son is referred to as being Joe Horn's son. He don't even have a name yet. Okay, it's Joe Horn's son. It's not even his name. Okay, so they did right by covering a first ballot Hall of Famer who gave us a breaking news saying, I no longer want to be here. You understand me? So they did right by covering a first ballot Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers. Okay, we don't know your child. Okay.
What? Hey, was Steven River got his Gamecock shirt on, baby. He ready. J.C. Horn, I think that was a surprise. It was one of those
It
surprises that
was.
hey, that one of them major draft guys was saying, I, I didn't have them this high. Well, so what? Somebody did, and their name was the Carolina Panthers. So, being right there in state, I know it ain't the Panthers playing Charlotte, but
Mm-hmm.
Gamecocks Columbia is not far from there, maybe like 2.5, 3 hours away
Mm-hmm.
from them. So it's a short trip. I'm sure they saw a lot of JC this season and made them get a little swayed, being able to see so much tape and being able to go and see them in person. I'm
Right.
sure
Right.
swayed the choice. And then
Mm-hmm.
playing in a team that wasn't really that great, but yet he's
Mm-hmm.
still out there making plays. And Pack and I talk about this all the time. I say the hardest teams would for me, if I was in those positions as a GM, is to choose from Ohio State and an Alabama, especially on the defensive side when you see the opposing quarterback throwing punts. Yeah, that's what I said. Throwing punts. That means he's throwing off of one leg as his back of his head about to touch this ground, because somebody hit him, and he throwing a punt up for a corner to catch it. Uh, Alabama, let's face it, Pac Jam has traditionally been a little weak when it comes to the NFL, when it comes to that secondary. And I think that's because that D line has been so dominant. So what did you think
Well,
about JC?
well, to uh, J.C. Horn is a good corner. You know, I mean, he showed us. I mean, he's a lockdown corner. You know, again, like I said, he played good, well in the big when they played big time teams. He stood out. You know, so I don't have any qualms with him going where he went at. You know what I mean? But again, you know, Carolina felt they needed him. They liked him more than they liked Patrick Surtain. I don't, you know. I don't, I mean, again, I'm more biased to Surtain, but hey, that's the pick they went with.
Well, right as you say, you was biased to him. He wouldn't have flipped. He wouldn't have made, but one, been able to pick one earlier. The way the draft went 7 straight offensive players, and then finally a defensive player in J.C. Horn. The second defensive player off the board was Patrick Surtain, the second. Another Alabama product. You got 2 in the first round already, Pac Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes out there to Mile High to disappear in them.
Mm-hmm.
So what are
Say
your
again?
thoughts? I says Patrick Surtain goes to Mile High to disappear in Denver. So what are your thoughts about that? Looks like we done lost Pac Jam. Uh, so I was trying to get his thoughts on that Denver pick. I'll move right along to Philly. Philly had Devonta Smith, and which I was really excited about. A little upset because I felt like he was to me, second best player in this draft. There's only certain times where the Heisman gets it right to me, and they got it right this year with Devonta Smith, and he was able to and Philly pulling him gets to match him up with Jalen Hurts, a guy that he should have been in the locker room with at least a year, maybe 2. I can't remember now how the years meld together, but I think he might have been in the locker room with Jalen Hurts at least 2 years. That's gonna help a lot with their relationship. And I think I agree, Double A, is what you say. He's a sure thing. I think that the Eagles, to me, right up front, Pac-Man feels like the 49ers got it right. I think the Eagles hit it out of the park to be able to allow, a Heisman pick, and not just a Heisman pick, but the Heisman pick, like the real Heisman pick, not that phoniness that we see every other year where it's the best guy on the best team. No, this guy was the best guy on any team. And he's gonna make plays for Jalen Hurts. I think he's the guy that I was talking about with Waddle taking the top off the defense. I never would have thought I'd have lost money on that bet, thinking that Waddle would have went before Devonta Smith. But that's great for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they start out with a great base because I think he gets off the line well. He takes top off the defense. He runs short routes well. He runs intermediate routes well. They throw it to him with bubble screens. I mean, the guy runs every route in the route tree. Reminds me a lot of a faster Calvin Ridley, who's doing a heck of a job in Atlanta right now. So I love that pick. And then the shocker of the night, I think again, man, this was a shocker to me. Chicago Bears select Justin Fields. Now, why is that such a shock? Man, they had Justin Fields. I felt like he had them fail to the 5th round. If you listen to all the analysis that was going on before the draft, as it started winding down, and he just, the more they watched this tape, the more they said he was gonna fall. And he's like he went from a first round to an early number 2 pick in the beginning of the season. By like the mid-season, he was down to the middle of the first. After the draft, seemed like he was down to the bottom of the first, and they just started talking him to the second. I just felt like the talk was crazy. And it was just it was amazing to me what the what the analyst was saying about Justin Fields. I see right now Steven said wait till he get the welcome hit to the NFL. Laugh out loud. A lot is talked about by his 170-pound frame. And listen, guys, he's played like that in Pop Warner High School, big time college. He'll be able to play like that in the NFL. The only position that don't get hit, guys, is quarterback. If you look at it, those are injury-prone guys. You get sporadic injury-prone guys, but the quarterback position is the one you see the most injuries with. That's where the hits actually affect and change the outcome. The other positions have been hit. They've been hit by NFL guys because the conferences they play in also got NFL guys, so they are hit by them on a consistent basis. Just not everybody that's hitting them is an NFL guy, but I mean Devontae Smith, I think he's the guy. I mean, if you play in the SEC, I hate to admit it as an ACC guy, but it's the closest thing to the hits you're gonna get in the NFL. So I think hey, it's definitely I think he's gonna be able to handle it at 170 pounds. I don't think that's gonna bother him one bit. He's gonna grow. He's gonna get bigger. He'll probably be 75 to 180 before in the beginning of camp. As he gets older, listen, all us older players will tell you that weight just started appearing. And you done tried to gain weight your whole life, and all of a sudden it just starts appearing, and you like, oh my goodness, I need to go down. So that'll happen with over time. But getting back to Justin Fields, to me, when you look back at these quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round, I think, right, I really do believe that this is going to go down as a super steal in Justin Fields. Reason why we forget that Andy Dalton, guys, is the quarterback that Chicago Bears already got. So I'm a huge proponent. If you listen to our show at all, I am a huge proponent of letting guys sit. And when you go back to these first three quarterbacks that were chosen, you get Trevor Lawrence, first day minicamp, he's starting. Zach Wilson, first day minicamp, he's starting. And I know all you guys are waiting for me to say I'm wrong about Trey Lance because Jimmy Garoppolo is there. But have you been hearing what Grop saying? Grop saying he don't even know if he's going to be there past Sunday, man. The day is Friday. Garoppolo saying, I don't know if I'll be there past Sunday. So Trey Lance, right, probably gonna be day one minicamp starter. So I don't like that, guys. I don't like trial by fire. It damages them. I think it takes away from their career. I still say if you look at the Hall of Fame type talent that we've seen, man, them guys came in. I mean, Pac Jam mentioned earlier, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 2 years. It's kind of funny that he was upset with the pick last year when they came with a quarterback. I'm like, you don't think they was gonna do the same thing? Not to me, not to me. Everybody believe that, not to me. But yeah. So I think Justin Fields gonna have a chance to learn behind Andy Dalton, who has been a great pro, and by that I mean he shows up and does all the right things. He'll be able to learn from him. He'll be able to go through the motions and be tutored by Andy Dalton. And I think that's going to give him the confidence to come in the following year to really take over. I agree. Double A says he thinks they need a year to slow down, for the game to slow down. Absolutely. Man, listen, it's super fast bullets flying at you. You're being game plan. They figure out from week to week what's your favorite thing to do. They take it away. So you got to have a backup plan for the backup plan for the backup plan. And that happens. You're able to do that when you sit there and watch and see what they do to Andy Dalton. And then Andy come off the field and you're able to talk with him and say, hey, I see this. And Andy like, yeah, I see this. You see that, but also they're coming behind with this. And that's the kind of talk that goes back and forth. And then when they get in the quarterback meetings, they're able to break it down even further. And he's able to really get a chance to see what's going on out there. And I'm telling y'all, this makes a ton of difference because you're playing mentally. And I don't know how many of you guys have had the opportunity to do this? But there, you can learn things by sitting on the sideline and putting yourself in the position of that quarterback. So when you're looking at the defense, you're making all the checks, you're making all the pass protection calls, and then when you see coverage, you said Hut, you see coverage, and you like, okay, he should be hitting the flat right now. Okay, and that's what's happening when you're a guy that's really engaged. And I think Justin Fields has shown us he's a student of the game, and he'll do the same thing there. Let's see. Marino was the only exception of that release. Yeah, you get the ball out, and I said, most Hall of Fame type of quarterback guys, yeah, there's always exceptions, and there are also guys that do just fine in trial by fire. But I just think overall, we've seen when a guy has a chance to sit 1 or 2 years, he's better for it. Steve say Rogers' payroll too high, so it's time. Man, this is a Green Bay team that's heck. Let's think about it. Their game away feel like from playing in the Super Bowl, man. And they did it all on his back. It may be too high of a price tag, but now you go to that backup guy that's gotten the chance to sit. So if he's been doing right, then yeah, they need to move him. And that'd be great for Aaron because now one of these teams sitting around that hit the lottery. And man, that hit the lottery if they can land Aaron Rodgers because you instantly a Super Bowl, at least a deep playoff run favorite. We had Michael Parsons, linebacker from Penn State, going to the Cowboys. This is a guy that they said was just could flat out fly. Did everything for Penn State on defense, and Dallas Cowboys actually. Sean Lee just retired. I mean, I think that's, obviously they made a pick to definitely replace him, but also I think this is the new backer, man. Bring a guy in that can play every down, because it's 7-on-7 out there. So he got to be able to cover. And with his speed and agility, this guy fits the bill of the new age linebacker. Just come in and cover, man. You ain't got to really. I know they talk about his power and how he knocks out people. He makes plays in the hit game, but you don't need to hit nobody no more. Get him to the ground and be able to cover. That's all you got to do nowadays. You can cover. You got a chance at linebacker. Elway wants Rodgers. Who don't want Rodgers? Double A. Carson looks like a Cowboy linebacker. I would say no. I think he looks like the new age linebacker. I think, like I'm talking about, he's a guy that can cover, and that's what everybody wants nowadays, a guy that can cover. And so that's what I believe. Moving right along, pick 13, Rashawn Slater. This is a guy that his claim to fame is he blocked Chase Daniels. That's the claim to fame, baby. I blocked Chase Daniels. So he definitely was supposed to come out last year, feel like, since he blocked Chase Daniels last year. But now this year he comes out, he gets 13th pick of the draft overall out of Northwestern. They're saying he's definitely a tackle, more so they don't like his arm length. I mean, people find something all the time, but O-linemen learn how to hide their arms. So they'll sit them tight. They won't stick them out. They'll sit them tight so they can punch and they can wait. It's like a snake. Snake ain't gonna hit at you till you come within strike distance. And that's how O-linemen do. They sit these hands right here. Once you get to what they know they can touch, then they touch. They don't shoot them early because that's when the D linemen out there working them arms. So, I was really a little bit disappointed, or I thought it was funny when the analyst was talking about his short arms, and I'm like, man, listen, y'all say he was able to block the toughest guy in the draft last year, pass rusher. So I think he know what he doing. Uh, Steve say they need an edge rusher. All right. As a let's see, got the Jets back and they went O-line this time. They brought in a quarterback, Kyle Wilson, and then they wanted to bring in somebody that could protect him. Brought in a offensive guard from Southern Cal. Uh, hey man, I'm a huge proponent for getting O lineman and D line in the draft. It listen, I know y'all gonna hit me in the throat when I say it's rare, but it's still rare. Keep counting. It's rare when you get bums, you know, a bust at O line and D line, man. And I know all y'all gonna go straight to Robert Nkemdiche, and who actually just got another shot and to come back to the NFL. It was all 2020. He just got another shot. But I know y'all gonna go straight to him, but it's just one of those positions that can literally give you a 10-year stint, you know, all O line and D line. And so I've always been a huge proponent. Bump those skill guys. Let me get some guys that are tried and true. You don't watch be nasty for 3 or 4 years. And that is hard for that tape to lie for that long. So I like getting O line and D line, and nobody's ever excited about that. And not necessarily pass rushers either. I said when I'm saying O line, D line, I'm talking about interior D line. You know, when you talk about three techniques, noses, stuff like that. Those guys right there are highly coveted. You get them for 10 years, and they seem to always work out. So I'm excited about that pick. Uh, oh man, Tony Mandy, and I told you, you didn't go with Kendichi, but guess what? You went right to uh you went right to another exception to the rule, but you can't just keep rolling them out over and over and over. And that's the point. Like we can do that with quarterbacks, we can do that with wideouts, we can do that with corners, we can do that with safeties, we can do that with running backs, we can do that with tight ends. But it's hard for you to just keep rolling out bad O linemen and bad interior D linemen again. So I'm excluding them pass rushes because that don't always work out either. I'd be a huge proponent in the front office for getting O linemen and D linemen because we know they're gonna be around. And you win games with them. Another shocker of the draft, New England picks up Mac Jones. And if I thought a guy was gonna be a career backup, I thought it would be Mac Jones. I'm sorry, Pac Jam. But Mac Jones, to me, just didn't splash anywhere. He threw it. Listen to this. He got drafted with 3 other first round picks from his team. He leaving a better team than the one he going to. He might have more first round picks at Alabama. He just left than they have in New England. But this is a guy that definitely fits the New England model, the New England mold. They can tutor him. They can teach him the deke and dunk passing tree. He can sit behind Cam Newton 1 year and take over the very next year. And he may be a stopgap that can be able, because New England going back to basics. They're again playing great defense. They're trying to run the ball again and then play a little bit of quarterback while they're doing those first two things. So, you know, to me, it wasn't a big pick because I don't foresee him being another Brady. But what I do, foresee him doing is being able to do what they're asking him to do. And they can go back to what they've been doing Brady-wise with him versus with Cam Newton, having to change the offense a lot to be able to fit what Cam Newton's doing. Double A say classic Caleb. Oh man, let's face it, man. I'm gonna give y'all the truth as it relates to me. Steven said, why is it that you play the position all your life, get in the NFL and bust? Why? It's first of all, Steve, I'm gonna blame the teams because a lot of times you bring in guys that don't fit your system. Steve, when I tell you that, I'm telling you the truth. Case in point, when we were in New York, Tiki was there, Sean Payton was there, and you know what kind of offense he runs and what kind of running backs Sean Payton consistently has, right? But Steve, guess who we drafted in my class when I came in? Ron Dane. That's the kind of foolishness that happens in the NFL. Ron Dane had just came off of being a Heisman pick, running that thing like downhill. But he played an offense that they didn't care if he lost 2 yards the first play. He was going to get it the next 3. Yeah, they were going for it on 4th if it was close enough. You know, he was going to run in between the tackles. He wasn't running outside. They were running power downhill, not counters and traps that could get to the edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he got him here. Run, they ain't being taught, running stretches. He's running outside runs. It wasn't downhill. And sooner or later his carries got less and less, and Ron ended up moving on from the New York Giants. And it wasn't his fault. Ron was still the same back. He was still the same back. But he needed to be in that kind of offense. Let's face it, during that time, I think Corey Dillon was running that thing like that, in Cincinnati. He was getting tons and tons of touches. That's the kind of offense Ron Dane should have went to. So that's the first position. I mean, the first thing. The second thing is, man, guys don't study. MB's discussed this before, I think. Guys don't take their profession seriously. So they get out there and they're uncertain. They're not studying behind the scenes. They're not staying after practice or running through stuff or doing the film study so that they're able to change at the pace of the play, at the speed of the play. We don't have time for you to wait on you and run the play again. We on second down. So that's the thing too. Guys don't put in what it takes. And then the last thing, man, well, I ain't gonna say last. Injuries. Injuries obviously plays a role. So I skip over that. That's an easy one. But the last thing I can think about is when guys get there, and it's funny. I Am Athlete talked about this. Brandon Marshall and them, their show, they talked about this. They kind of feel like they've made it, and they don't realize that this draft they just had for me, they haven't won next year. They haven't won the year behind it. They haven't won the year behind that. And so you're getting a steady flow of hungry hippos coming in, like that board game. You're getting a steady flow of guys who, need this to work for their life. And so that hunger, that passion that they're coming in, you have to match it and be able to use your knowledge base of now being a veteran to overcome that. And guys, a lot of guys, may be able to compete sometimes, but may not be able to compete all the time. And at the NFL level, you have to compete every day. Every day in practice, you're evaluated. Every game, guys are getting cut. And I'll just tell you this short story. So I was we were always off on Tuesdays. It's my rookie year, and I came in on a Tuesday and had nothing else going on. I said, I'm gonna go down and get a lift. Definitely get get some jogging in and watch some film, and then I'll go home. I'll kick it around up here for a couple hours and then take it home. So I get in, I drive into the parking lot, parking the players, gate. I walk down to the field. As I'm walking down the field to the locker room, I'm looking and I'm like, oh my gosh. Again, I'm a rookie, y'all. I'm like, what have I missed? Like, it's dudes out there with giant jerseys on, shorts. And I'm like freaking out. Like, am I supposed to be here? What in the world did I miss? I can't believe I missed it because I'm not a guy like that, y'all. And then I'm thinking, well, dang, ain't no cars in the parking lot. Like maybe one or two other cars. Like, where they parked at? But I'm still shook because I'm like, ain't no way. So I get down, I walk straight to the field. As I start walking to the field, I start noticing the jersey numbers are like weird. The guys I'm not recognizing. And so I walk up, one of the equipment managers is standing there, and I walk up on the equipment manager and I said, "Hey Ski, who are these guys?" He was like, these are guys coming in to work out. I was like, work out? What are you talking about? He's like, he looked at me and smiled. He was like, man, every Tuesday, every single Tuesday during the season, they bring a group of guys in to work them out to see if they want to sign them. I said, what? Steve, Steve, this is what I'm talking about, baby. I said, what? You mean to tell me every Tuesday somebody trying to get my job? Not just the guys that I'm competing with on the field, but y'all bringing in some more guys every single Tuesday for 17 weeks to come get my job. So, Steve, that's what it is, baby. It happens. It's the NFL. All NFL veterans will tell you that NFL does not stand for the National Football League, but it stands specifically for not for long. And so that's my thoughts, man, on why there are busts in the NFL, man. Those are the reasons to me. And you can watch it every single year. If you watch your team, you know I'm not making this up because the team you're supporting, Steve, you can name a guy that fits every single situation that I've actually stated out there. Double A said everybody jobs on the line. Absolutely. Because like you just said, Steve, earlier, Double A said everybody jobs on the line, but Steve said earlier, it's time for Aaron Rodgers to go. That's a Hall of Fame. We all remember when it was time for Joe Montana to go. I was sick. I was really a 49er fan, guys, not like Pat. I was really one. And and I was sick when we forced him out. And Steve Young came in. I knew Steve was a baller because Steve used to always ball when we brought him in whenever Joe would be out of the game. But I still didn't want to see Joe Montana leave. But another Hall of Famer, they got rid of him, Steve Young. You know, when you could tell they were starting to move the needle on him, and then he went ahead and retired. But it stands for not for long. Tom Brady is the only one that made a lie out of, because it stands for him when I'm finished. So man, the NFL draft is going on again tonight, man. So we'll definitely talk on Monday, put this whole thing together and decide who won, who lost. Right now, to me, Philadelphia won, man. Philadelphia won to me. Being able to get Devonta Smith, I think that was huge for them. I think as we move forward, you're gonna be able to look back at that Chicago pick and Justin Fields, because I think Justin's he has that chip on his shoulder. The Trevor Lawrence don't have, he has. He knows what all was said about him, so he knows he has something to prove. Trevor might get sucked up or caught up, in the hype, and especially because, the sad part about Trevor that I think is bad is the fact that he got to go there and rebuild an organization. Okay, so I think that's what he has working against him the most. And then they bring in his teammate ETN. I don't necessarily think that was a great pick either. You know, the quarterback's best friend used to be a running back. It ain't no more. It's a wide receiver. It's a tight end, maybe, depending on how special that tight end is. If he keep Kelsey, Travis Kelsey, then yeah, he's a quarterback best friend at tight end. So yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. We'll get back with y'all on Monday to talk this out. Appreciate you pulling up, stopping through, hollering at us, because you know us with MB and K Lou, sideline to baseline. We are gone, everybody. We'll holler.